Hello, movie patient, and welcome to Film Therapy. I am Brienne, also known as Miss Movies, also known as your film therapist. I'm not a real therapist, but I play one on the internet just for the show. And as with every session, I have a guest patient, and my guest patient today is Mr. Nick Scarpino. Hello.
Hi, I'll be everyone's therapist if you want me to be, but I charge $500 an hour, and I will only see you for 5 minutes, and I will give you the exact same advice every time, which is subscribe to Kind of Funny. That's
Okay,
all I'll
so
tell you.
that's $100 a minute,
Yes.
and you don't get a full hour, so it's just you should just do it by minutes.
You can just follow me on Twitter and probably get the exact same therapy. It's the exact same kind of deal if you want to
Okay,
just follow me on
okay.
Twitter. Yeah.
Because I mean, you're only on Twitter for like 5 minutes a week, anyways.
Yeah, I
So that's
don't I
how
don't like
often we
to.
see you.
In a perfect world, I would sit on an island someplace and just engage with society when and if I chose to. When it tickled
Yeah.
my fancy.
Now, I feel like you haven't had a big presence on Twitter just in general. I don't think that was like you were on there a lot and then you were like, you know what, I got to scale back now. There's too many people that follow me. But I feel like you were always just kind of like in and out every so often. Yes.
No, yeah, that's accurate. I don't gravitate towards social media as either an entertainment form or a form of catharsis. I just don't. I think Instagram is the closest I get with that, because I feel like there's a layer of, I don't know why. I just feel like there's a little bit more intimacy there, I think, with the people that follow me on that platform. And I don't know why that is, because they're probably the exact same people that follow me on other platforms. But I just think for whatever reason, I think, I started building that audience over there. And it's just more fun for me to post pictures, and I feel like they engage in a different way. Twitter just feels like it's too much. It's too many
Too
people. It's
much. Too
it's
much.
it's too little. You don't really get the opportunity to engage people like I feel like you can on Instagram. That sounds so
Mhm.
stupid because they're exactly the same, but I don't know.
They're
That's just
but
how I
they're
look at
not
them.
really they're not really exactly the same. They aren't.
No, Twitter just feels like a place to me right now, and this might be a lot of things that I'm making up in my own brain, but it just feels like a place where people go to, like, it's a Twitter is like a
Unwind
giant nightclub where
politely?
you don't know where you're gonna get there, but some people go to get into a fight, you know? Some people are like, I'm gonna get drunk and get into a fight tonight, so let's get on Twitter. Whereas I feel like you can't really fight with someone on Instagram because ultimately, like, they're not, it's more one way. It's more like, hey, I'm just gonna make this experience for you. And if you want to engage in it, cool. If not, that's cool too. But you're probably not going to be inclined to leave a comment that I'm necessarily going to like, it's gonna ruin my day, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally. There's a great little I'll have to send it to you if I think I retweeted it, but it was called this comic called Debate Me. And it's just about this little deer, I guess, like doing different things throughout the day. And like this person is just like saying all these terrible comments to this deer. And then finally the deer's like, can you just leave me alone?
Yeah.
I've never talked to you before.
I,
And then
I
they're
it,
like, oh, you don't want to engage with me. I guess I win or something
it,
like that.
at the end of the day, it really does boil down to you. Like, you can choose to engage the people if you don't want to, but it's so hard not to. It's so hard when someone says something that you disagree with, but then it's like, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I'll jump in every once in a while, but I try not to because I just remember I'm like, what am I going to solve in 140 characters? Now it's 280 characters, but let's be honest, none of us use that extra 140 character. We don't like those 140 characters.
No.
It's dumb. Those are dumb. I stick to. I am a traditionalist. I stick to 140 characters. Every once in a while, I'll go to 145 when I'm feeling fucking crazy, when I'm feeling
Wow.
nuts. You know. Sorry, I said the F word.
Those
Can't remember if
extra
we're
five.
supposed to swear on your podcast or not, but it's
If
it's
we're
therapy. It's
supposed
catharsis.
to. Okay.
It's catharsis.
So if you've never joined us for film therapy, here's how it works. First of all, Nick is going to get on his Twitter right now and retweet the live link that just went out so that other people can find us.
There we
But
go.
yeah, use that platform that you don't like to use.
There we go.
But here's how it works. Normally, I'd ask Nick 3 questions about film, the same 3 questions that I ask each and every patient. But today, since he is a return patient, he's just going to tell me about 3 films that have significance in his life and what
Mm,
the significance is to those films.
love it.
And then towards the end, hopefully, we'll get to do a movie prescription where if you are here and you are in the waiting room, also known as the chat, give us your problem. We'll prescribe you a movie to watch. That's what we're doing towards the end if we have
Love
time.
it. Love it.
All right. So before we do that, let's get to know you just a little bit better. For those that don't know who Nick Scarpino is, Why don't you go ahead and tell everyone who you are?
I am part of a group of people who are awesome human beings called Kind of Funny. You can go to youtube.com/kind of funny, or if you're into video games, you can go to youtube.com/kind of funny games, and you can see all of our all of our content there. Topics include all of nerd culture. Right now on Kind of Funny, we're doing MCU and review. We're rewatching every single Marvel movie, one a week, and reviewing them leading up to Infinity War. Over on games, we do things called a series called Party Mode, where we play games and screw with each other. And mostly, it generally, I win all of them. It's not a big deal. I'm kind of the champion right now. It's cool.
Kind of, just a little bit. You like
but
that
yeah,
belt?
I do have a belt. I do have a belt. But yeah, I mean, on a more meta level, yeah, we're around. So come check out our stuff and be part of our community, because we like to think that our community is the best on the internet.
Your community is the best on the internet.
Brienne, you're a part of our community. You can say our community is the best. You're wearing your Kind of Honey shirt.
Our community.
Thank you. That's how. See, listen. When you're gonna start a cult, you have to make everyone feel like they're involved in it. Do you understand? I'm watching this Wild Wild Country on Netflix. Have you seen this?
I have not seen.
It's about this weird cult in like Montana that moved in, and they were all maroon, and they draw. It's crazy stuff, man. It's crazy stuff. So I learned from that.
I also made Kind of Funny or Kind of Honey leggings for myself.
You did. You did.
I mean, I don't see the proceeds from that. I just made them, and then, people can buy them. But that's only because it was that you guys didn't license Kind of Honey. So, haha.
That's totally fine. We give you get a good pass on that one. You've done enough. You've done enough. You've done your bit for King and Country.
You guys don't sell leggings on your site, so
we don't.
If you did,
we don't sell a lot of things on our site. Famously, we tried to get an exclusive T-shirt for a new sport that I'm trying to start called horse wrestling. We tried to get that shirt going, and the fine folks who run our merchandise were like, "No,
this is not going to."
Well, I'm like, I just want 25 horse wrestling shirts on our merch store, and they were like, "No," and Tim and Greg were like, "No, why would you do that?" So we put it out. The community sold them, and I totally forgot to buy one. So if you're watching this and you're in our community, get me a medium or a large, please, and let me know where that is. I'll come pick it up from you. How about that?
Wow, how about that? So do that. Okay,
so
let's get into the first film that you would like to discuss today.
First film I want to talk about is a small movie called Hackers. Have you seen this film?
I did not see Hackers, but I know of Hackers because it came out in the mid-90s.
Angelina Jolie, Johnny Lee Miller. You got a little Matthew Lillard in there as well to just pepper it in for comedic relief. There's Lorraine Bracco's in there. There's a bunch of actors that you've seen that you know from various different things. None of whom are particularly like huge actors, other than Angelina Jolie. I think Johnny Lee Miller is doing Elementary now, which is great. But I watched this movie with my good friend Ryan, and the reason why I think about this is because I remember going to the theater with him, and I'm seeing him tonight. He's one of my lifelong friends. We made friends when we were in junior high, and we have remained friends, right, 65 years. That's how long we've been friends.
That's a long time. Now, can you remind me, is Ryan the same guy that does Wheelie Good Vids?
No, that's my buddy Stu. My buddy Stu and I were the ones that smoked weed for the first time together, and cigarettes. So Stu was like my vice guy. Ryan was like my nerd guy. Ryan was the guy that got me into Robotech, the RPG, as a pen and paper role-playing game. Stu is my buddy. Stu and I are still very good friends. In fact, I just watched some of his videos over on Wheelie Cool Vids. If you guys are into custom mod cars, although now he drives mostly Porsches on that channel, but he does some really cool content there. But yeah, I text him every once in a while, and it takes him like 5 days to get back to me because he's so busy. But he gets back to me. That's the important thing.
Okay, so you saw Hackers with Ryan at the theater.
Yes. And here's the deal. It's one of those movies that's so nostalgic to me for so many reasons, not the least of which is when you watched it when you were in the 90s, it was already outdated. It already felt like a movie that was made in the 80s about future tech. Like they were talking about how much more powerful the chips in there were than like the Pentium 90 or, like they were dealing with technology that I don't think they realized that once the movie, like it took a year for the movie to from writing to shooting to completion, that once it came out, I don't know that they realized that technology was moving so fast that it would all be outdated. And have these hilarious conversations in this about how powerful the Risk architecture is in their machine. And then like by the time I was watching, I was like, wait, I have a freaking desktop in my dad's office that's like 3 times more powerful than that. That's dumb. And then of course, but what I like about it is that they had to visualize the inner workings of a computer.
Oh.
And for me, that's always fascinating to see how that's going to work, because it's always 130,000 times more exciting than a real, like really staring at a code screen. Because really, like hackers, when you stare at a screen, it's like the best they could do is different lines are different colors on their screen, and there's multiple lines of text, but it's just like, it's all C++ programming or whatever the hell, or Linux or Unix, whatever. So, but they have these amazing fly-throughs of this computer called the Gibson that's in it. And it's so ornate and so 94, but it has kind of a beauty to it, and it has a uniqueness to it, because they had to, back in the 90s, they had to problem solve. They didn't have a lot of CG. And the director himself didn't want to use a lot of CG for that. So they actually made scale models that motion control cameras would fly through. And it's like, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this is interesting CG. It's not. It's actually a lot of practical photography with CG backing it with like little power things going through it. But and then, it also plays off of.
Laura says, plus rollerblades. Don't forget the rollerblades.
Rollerblades. Huge thing back then. Actually, no, I swear to God, I still think that rollerblades were not cool back then. I think that was at the time when rollerblades were just
it had already gone out.
And then it had gone out. That's why this movie is so fun. There's an early version of Wipeout in the movie. So if you guys are PlayStation gamers, like, you'll remember Wipeout. So there's like this awesome version of that in the movie, like on this gigantic screen. So I love it, but I love it because it at its core, it's about a group of people who are teens who are just trying to figure out where their place is in the world, and it's not in mainstream. And they all come together and they become friends because of this thing they like doing, and this love, this shared passion for computers and for tech and for hacking and for like being smarter than everyone else. And it's got a really good relationship. It's got a really good love story between Johnny Lee Miller and Angelina Jolie, who then went on to be married in their early 20s and then quickly divorced. But man, they made a good looking couple. Yeah.
Gosh, I don't remember when they were married, but I also don't really know the history of Angelina Jolie when she was like up and coming. It was Girl Interrupted that I was like, oh, she's amazing.
That was her breakout film. Hackers was one of the films that I think she put her on the map as far as being like more of the Lara Croft character. If that makes sense. Like Hackers was like, because she plays a badass in this, and like, but badass in like the 90s badass term. Not sure what it means anymore because it's kind of one note, but she talked about how she blames this movie for kind of pigeonholing her into the action like sex symbol role. And then when she did movies like Girl Interrupted and stuff like that, she broke out from it and became an actual, was able to do different roles. But she was great in it and has a great haircut in it too. Has a little pixie cut. It's just the fashion's, it's so bad. And again, go back and watch it. If you haven't seen it, keep in mind that even in the 90s, that was bad fashion. Even in mid 90s, if I saw a person dressed like that in 1995, I'd be like, that's wrong. You're doing it wrong.
At the time, you're like, this doesn't hold up.
No, it's bad. At the time, I was like, this is bad. But that's why I love this movie, because in spite of all of that, in spite of the fact that they treat the audience like complete and total idiots who have never heard of a computer or technology at all and don't understand. I mean, at one point, they literally gush because this new computer has a 28.8 modem in it. That's where we're at with this tech. And they're like, it's twice the power of the 14.4 modem. It's like, no crap, dude. It's like, it's literally double the numbers. It's so bad, but it's just got something special to it. Much in the same way of the last movie that I talked about, which is like Big Trouble in Little China, where you go back and watch that, you're like, I don't know if this is a good movie or not, but I do know that I love it. And I can't quite put my finger on why.
Exactly. And do you need to put your finger on why all the time?
You do when your livelihood depends on it, and people in the chat tell you that you have the worst. They say, Nick, we look up to you, but you have the worst movie taste ever, and we don't look up to you anymore. What? There's a lot of flip-floppers in my chat sometimes that go, I agree with Nick, I respect his taste in movies, and then the next second they'll be like, he is an idiot who doesn't like The Departed. Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't like The Departed. Not that I care that you don't like The Departed, but
Oh no, I love talking about why I don't think I like The Departed. I thought it was an entertaining movie. I didn't think it was Scorsese's best movie, and I didn't think it
sure.
held up. It doesn't hold up tonally throughout the entire thing. There are moments that's
Right.
really intense with Leonardo DiCaprio, and then there are moments of complete wackiness with Alec Baldwin. And then the end, I feel like it's the time Scorsese, like I feel like before they wrote that ending was right when Scorsese saw Reservoir Dogs and were like, holy crap, no one's seen this movie. I'll just ape the ending. It'll be great. And it just didn't work for me. It became slapsticky toward the end, just completely crazy. And I didn't like it. Largely because I'm a Scorsese traditionalist. I love Goodfellas. I love Goodfellas. And I thought Wolf of Wall Street was a more of a return toward that. Like the storytelling of Goodfellas and Casino and Wolf of Wall Street, I think complete the sort of Scorsese style, and then him moving out of that in The Departed, I think was just a little too far for me. It just was too far. Plus, I'm Italian, and we have to hate the Irish. That's just the way it goes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's a little bit.
It's probably racism.
There. Oh,
it's potentially racism. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm just saying that. If I'm being, this is therapy, right? We're in the circle of trust. We're in the tree of trust right now.
Yes, we're.
Boston. No, all my folks are from New Jersey, so we gotta say bye-bye to that. Sorry,
well, let's say bye-bye to that, and let's say hello to our next film that you're going to share with us.
The next film, I don't think we've talked about this, but this is my all-time favorite film, is the 1989 Batman. Have you seen this one?
We have not talked about this. I have seen this multiple times, so you're in luck.
Thank you. Now, I cannot tell you. This was probably the movie most responsible for making me want to get into film. This was the one that inceptioned the idea in my brain that there was something else out there other than normal jobs. I don't want to say normal jobs like it's a bad thing, but like I remember hearing they were going to make a Batman movie and not being especially big into DC Comics. I hadn't really read a ton of comics as a kid because my mom wouldn't pay for them. And I'd be damned if I was going to mow more lawns. I was not trying to get a job. We had a great symbiotic relationship where I sat on the couch and watched Beavis and Butthead and ate, and she thought that I wasn't going to do anything with my life. And boy, did we both prove each other kind of right and wrong. But no, I remember thinking, oh, they're going to do a Batman movie. And of course, being a kid who's my only touchstone to Batman at that point was the Adam West series, I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be interesting. And they come out of the gates with this all black costume that looks so rad. And they announced that Michael Keaton's going to be in it. And I was shocked. First off, I was like, that's dumb. That doesn't make any sense.
People were not happy about his casting.
But then you see him in the costume and you're like, oh, that could work, right? And I remember I was in Italy. My mom and my dad took my brother and me to Italy to see some of our relatives out there. And this is 1988 probably. This is like the year, either 89 or 88. I can't remember when we went, but it was the year. It was very close to when the movie was going to come out. And I was just desperate to get any details on this movie. And I can't remember why. I don't know why I was so obsessed with it, but it was the first time in my life that I remember being obsessed with like this thing that was coming out into the future. You know, like I was never really obsessed with Star Wars like that because I was too young to actually like yearn for them.
Yeah. Well, plus it was like over at that time, and we didn't think it would be coming back or anything. We thought it was over.
Yeah, we thought it was over. So by the time I was 5 or 6, I was like, oh, I've got Star Wars. That's cool. I've got the Star Trek films, but whatever, they are what they are. But Batman comes around and it starts this fever, this sort of like thirst in me. And so I started buying all these magazines because I knew I was going to go to Italy, and I had no idea what kind of media they had in Italy. I mean, this is pre-internet. So I was like,
I have to consume everything now.
Yeah. I was like, nobody's going to talk to me about Batman in Italy. I can't speak Italian, and I don't even know if they know what Batman is in Italy. I mean, I'm 8 years old. I have no freaking idea. So I took all these magazines with me that I bought. I made my mom buy me any magazine that had anything to do with Batman. And I packed them in, and I just read them over and over and over again. And this is me at 8. I don't read at 8. So really what I'm saying is I read, but I didn't like to read. I hated reading.
You probably just don't read at the level that they're writing for the magazines.
Oh no, let me back up. I just was lazy and just wanted to look at the pictures. I could read totally fine at 8. I mean, I'm kind of a super genius. I'm not going to toot my own horn here, but I'm kind of a big deal. But But no, all seriousness, I remember thumbing through the magazine and just looking through the pictures over and over again. Because when you're a child and your parents, we didn't travel that much to other countries, so I felt so isolated. And this was like just looking at pictures of this thing in America that felt so far away that was like my touchstone to my other life, my life back there. It was weird. It was oddly therapeutic because when you're at 8 years old, I don't know how much you travel with the kids, but like at 8 years old, you just don't have an understanding of like this awesome opportunity that you're getting of being in Italy. Like if my mom wanted to take me to Italy right now, all expenses paid, I'd be like, let's go, Mama
Yes.
Scarpino.
Yeah, going on a trip when you're older and your parents are paying for it.
So much better.
So much better than when you're a kid and you're like, I feel I have to go. Like that's the
It
thing. I
was,
have to go. Now I'd be like,
yeah.
I want to go.
I know. It's weird. I think about that all the time when I'm like, people always say we want to take the kids on vacation. And I'm like, the kids don't want to go on vacation. The kids want to stay wherever their PlayStation 4 is or wherever their Switch is. That's where they want to stay. Luckily, you can take the Switch with these days.
That's true. We did take it with us. Did we? We may have. We went to Hawaii like a few weeks ago. My kids did like that though and didn't want to leave. And
well, because they can swim there, I imagine. Hold on. I just realized my computer is going to die. Hold on one sec.
Oh, amazing. I feel like this happened last time.
Yeah, I know. Because I was going to move because I didn't want to interrupt everyone. But then I thought, it's fine. It's early enough. And Greg just walked in and said hello. So you can say hi to him.
Hello, Greg.
Hello. He's gone.
And he's gone.
He's gone.
There you are again. Okay.
There I am.
You're back.
We're good. Yeah. Did you lose me for a sec? Cool.
No, just the image and then returned. It returned. Batman.
Just like Batman returns.
Italy. Batman does return in the second film. I didn't like that one as much, but we're not talking about that one.
You know what? Go back and watch it again. Watch the first.
I think because I'm older now, I'll respect it in a different way.
I think it's not, in my opinion, not nearly as good as the first one, and very few things in my book ever are good as the first one. I always give a nod to the first movie in any series because it started it all off. But the second one is really beautifully made, and his use of color in the second one is amazing. And it's got Christopher Walken as the bad guy. And I think that you just didn't have an appreciation for Christopher Walken back then like you probably do now after knowing me for years. So if I haven't driven that love of Walken into your heart, then you're dead inside. You are dead inside.
You are dead inside. That is true.
Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed like Batman? Gold. It's gold. He gave you gold, Tim Burton, and you killed him off.
Spoiler alert for those that have not seen Batman Returns.
Oh my God. If you didn't know the bad guy dies in every Batman, it's too bad.
Now, when you were in Italy, you were visiting relatives? Is that what?
Yeah, my mom's actually from Italy. She was born there. And so she has, at the time, had an aunt and uncle that were there. And in Italy, everyone's cousins. So I have a billion cousins, and my grandmother was still alive back then. My mom's mom. My mom was adopted by her great aunt and brought over to Chicago when she was very young. So she immigrated into the country, I think when she was like 4 or 5. And so it was very interesting because you're around these people who literally look like you, but you don't know who they are. Like my mom's sister looks exactly like her, and it freaked me out because I was like, At 8, it was a very heavy thing to deal with because I was like, I don't know how to have a relationship with you. You are, I mean, of course, they're amazing. And we talk now a lot because thanks largely to social media and the internet and Facebook and things like that, we can Skype in on great Christmases and things, but I still don't speak the language that well. And so it's hard, it's difficult, but it was one of those things. It was a very heavy thing for me to, it was difficult to deal with because you're like, how I can't possibly put the amount of time in needed to understand all of this in the 2-week period that we're here. Mm-hmm. And we spent like 5 or 6 days in a place called Central in the Abruzzi region in Italy. It's like central Italy. And then we went up to Rome where my grandmother still kept an apartment in Rome. And I think they have since let it go, which I'm like, because that would be amazing. And so we went to the Vatican and all that stuff. But the entire time it was like, just imagine me at the Vatican, and instead of looking at everything there, or imagine me at the Sistine Chapel, instead of looking at the ceiling, I'm like thumbing through like Fangoria magazine because it's got a 2-page spread on Michael Keaton's Batman.
And that's what you're supposed to do as a kid. I
think so.
You're supposed to not appreciate it. and you're supposed to make your parents be like, "Why did I bring this child along?" That's like
Exactly.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
I have to remember that as a parent too, because it's hard to remember those things and not liking it as a kid.
Yes, but you know, I think my wife's family is a family of travelers. They are like, her mom is, you know, their family is from the Netherlands. They're from Holland, and so they were born traveling. And so my wife has that traveling spirit in her, and it's so interesting because I think to myself, not that we didn't travel, we did take vacations, but largely in the continental United States, or North America. Like we go to Mexico every once in a while, but you know, we just never did a lot of international travel. So I never really got exposure to European culture. And so I'm getting that now through vacations with my wife. And it's interesting, and just proves to me you're never too old to learn stuff and to have your horizons broadened and to get out and understand how other people live. Not that most European countries live terribly differently than we do here, but you know, we've also gone to we've been to various other places that are pretty eye-opening, including Morocco, which we went to a couple years ago, which was really cool to see, and very much the same thing as the culture shock that I felt when I went to Italy and felt isolated. But now that I'm an adult and can deal with it and understand that fear is just a natural part of the process, I think it's really cool. And I think back to that. I think back to those early trips too, and I think to myself, like, I'd love to go back into that body with this brain and be like, let's get it. Let me soak all of this up, because this is such an amazing opportunity right now. Not the least of which is because it was an amazing opportunity to have zero distractions in your life. And we didn't realize that at the time in the 80s and 90s that we were never going to have that again. We were never not going to have social media and phones and notifications and an internet and these addictions. You know, we just weren't going to have it.
Right. Yeah, it is a little bit sad that we have that, but it's also good because otherwise we wouldn't be talking right now.
We would not be friends. We would never have known each other.
Never.
And we're besties now.
I know,
We
right?
are. Yes.
Let's get into our third and final.
Third and final film is another one that we're going through some of the top hits on Nick's list right now.
Okay.
And this is a movie I'm sure a lot of people bring up, and if not, well, it's a very popular movie. It's a movie called Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, not Ferris Bueller's Day Off, although that's probably going to be on my list next time. No, I wanted to talk a little bit about Pulp Fiction because it was one of those instances where my mom dropped me off to see a movie. They went and saw some other movie, and I went and saw Pulp Fiction. Oh no, I'm totally wrong. I talked my parents into seeing Pulp Fiction.
Oh, with
so
you?
My mom and my dad went and saw it with me.
That sounds.
They were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's a movie from this up and coming director. He made this other movie called Reservoir Dogs, which is really cool. I think you'll like it." And halfway through the movie, right around the time we got to the GIMP scene, my mom was like, "Oh wow, like this is not. I don't need to see this." And I'll be honest, like it was one of those movies that seeing that at like 13 or 14, however old I was, I think it came out in '94, but I could be wrong. I remember thinking, "Wow, I don't think I should be seeing this. This is an intense scene. This is an intense movie. This is very adult." And it was a gut check moment for me watching it. I was like, I have to, I mean, I'm seeing this with my parents. I talked to them into seeing it.
Yeah.
And so I have to then act like it's not having this horribly traumatizing effect on me seeing that scene in the sex dungeon basement. But aside from that, I remember walking out thinking, wow, I have watched movies on this planet since birth. Like, if you grew up in the 80s, you're an 80s baby. You watched movies were like the thing you did. We didn't have much else. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have soccer. That wasn't invented till late 80s.
That's probably why your parents were okay with you convincing them, because they didn't know anything about it. Nowadays, they'd go on IMDb and then they'd look at the parental guide, or they would, look up just information in general online, and then they'd be like, "We are not seeing this, and you're never seeing this." That's what they would say.
Yeah, basically that's where I was at. But I do remember thinking there was a positive note leaving that, and I remember thinking wow, I've never seen a movie like that before, and that was eye-opening.
Did your mom stay, or did she walk out of the theater at certain? Oh wow,
Mama Scarpino. My mom is hard as nails. My mom was raised by a woman who was Depression era hard, where if you didn't eat, that's your fault. That's the kind of thing that's where she comes from. So yeah, she stayed and she enjoyed the movie. But
it sounds like
I don't think she ever wants to see it again. I don't
No.
think it's her cup of tea, but I think you can't not enjoy that movie because of the way the story is told, because of the way he crafted the narrative and broke it up into different types of stories, or different like vignettes. And I remember thinking, I don't like after the first one when we skipped to another character, I was like, I'm not gonna like this. But by the end of the movie, I'm like, this just became one of my favorite films, and it's proof positive that you can break the rules. You just have to break them really. You have to do it really well, and you can still tell a really compelling story with using a traditional 3-act structure, or a linear 3-act structure, I should say, because a lot of people argue that it still does have a 3-act structure. And you can do it. You just have to do it so well that like it's you're on the razor's edge, right? There's a thin line between Academy Award nominated movie or terrible travesty, and so many people they tried to emulate that movie. They tried to do it with that James Van Der Beek movie. I can't. Oh no, Go. Remember Go
Oh
with
yeah, I do remember Go.
Timothy Oliphant, and they tried to break up the narrative like that in that movie, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and it just didn't work. Scott Wolf, God bless him, couldn't pull it out, and Jay Moore. That was what that
Wow.
instead of Samuel L. Jackson and
Deep
John
cuts of
Travolta.
Go. I'm like, do I even remember Go that well? Was it Sarah Paulson or
Yeah, so no,
who
Sarah Polley,
was
I think.
Sarah Pauly?
Yeah,
Nice.
Sarah
Nice.
Paulson, awesome actor. She's
Yeah.
rad. She's from that O.J. Simpson show.
She's gonna be in Ocean's 8. So I'm excited
Is
about that.
Have you seen the trailer for that?
I have.
I think it looks good.
I'm super excited. I've already told one of my friends that writes for Cinema Blend that he will be taking me to see that at a screening because I was
Love
like,
it.
I need to see this. There are certain ones that I'm like, listen, I gotta see this. Just like Tully, I'm like, I am Tully. Like I needed Tully. Someone needs to like have me cover this film for them because I am the
You
audience.
got to push to
Like,
do that. I'll be honest with you. You're probably the single most important person who's responsible for the success of the Greatest Showman than anyone else in my life. You're the only person that the second that movie came out, you're like, I've seen it 10 times. And then my friend Yusuf saw it a bunch of times. He was like, you got to see this too. And I was like, stop trying to be Brienne. Stop it.
did you see it though?
No, I never saw it. No.
Okay, well, it's on iTunes to
Rubbish.
buy right now. But you will be able to rent it, I believe, April 20th is my guess. I
Okay.
can't remember,
I'll
but
check it out once it comes to rental. But I don't buy movies, with the
okay,
rare exception of Roanoke, which I bought the other day because my wife wanted to watch it.
I understand. I
But Chris
understand.
Hemsworth, abs, inspiration.
I mean, you gotta go with it. You
You
do.
do. You do.
So anything else that you want to tell us about Pulp Fiction before you tell me your last bits about Pulp Fiction, if you are in the waiting room, also known as the chat, and you would like to tell us what your problem is, and we prescribe you a movie for that problem, then go ahead and start putting that in there while Nick closes it up on Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. I mean, I just that was one of the movies. Obviously, when I got into film, when I went to film school, that people talk about constantly. Right, there are all these touchstones in people's lives, and I think it's always fascinating to see like what people who were born in the '90s, what's their touchstone movie, what's their movie that changed the game and changed their lives or inspired them. And Pulp Fiction for me is one of those. It just happened at the right time. It just happened to come around at the right time in my life when I was in my early teens, and it helped shape sort of my view of cinema and of film and of filmmaking and of like what you could do across the board in life in general. And so I think that weirdo Quentin Tarantino for making that for having a brain that doesn't work like the rest of us, because he really does continue, and he still continues to deliver on a lot of fronts.
He does continue to deliver. He's I call him my favorite movie choreographer
Yeah.
because I feel like a choreographer will take different dances that they've done or been a part of, and they'll put it into their own a lot of times and like make something new out of it. And I feel like he does that with movies. Like he takes movies that he loves and he somehow places them into movies that he's doing.
Yep.
So
I agree.
that's what I love about that. We have our first problem that has come up
Give it
that
to
we're
me.
going to prescribe. The Rain09 says, my problem is I'm stuck in a relationship I can't get out from after 5 years. Drop the mic. Okay, so what's that movie where it's like the
Breakup.
engagement? What is
Oh
that?
no. I was gonna say The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston, where it's
Okay,
like
yeah.
gut-wrenchingly painful to watch because it's so real.
It's so real, and I have at least 2 friends that have broken up with their significant others and still live with them. And I think,
That's bad.
why?
That's bad
Why
news
are you doing
bears.
that? Why are
Yeah.
you doing that?
How about this? Here's what you do: give the breakup a watch, then give Marley and Me a watch, and then go watch You, Me, and Dupree. There you go.
Okay, you, me, and Dupree. What was the second one you said? Because I
Marley and
kind
Me is
of
not the one where the dog dies at
oh
the end.
Marley and Me.
Yeah, it's
Well,
super
I
scary.
don't want to spoil Marley and Me. I
Wow,
mean,
sorry.
but but okay.
No, you need
Um,
something uplifting. We need to give you an uplifting movie. Here's what you need to watch. You need to
Uplift.
go and you need to watch Fast and Furious. The Fast and the Furious. That's what you need
Oh,
to watch.
always. That's always every single movie
That
prescription is
is
going
that
to
is
end with a Fast and Furious movie that you should
absolutely
watch based on your problem.
that will inspire
We'll go
you
with
to
we
be
could go with the first one.
the breakup.
No, I mean we can go with the
Oh,
first
Fast and Furious. Yeah, definitely. 100%. I would not. Yeah, that's good.
The
That's
Fast and the
the
Furious.
Furious. Yes.
Let me kind of scroll up a little bit so I can see where the other one is. Rachel says, superficial problem. I need a few movie suggestions for what to watch for long travel days.
Mm.
Okay.
I'm going to throw a couple your way right now. I don't know if you're into comedies, but I just watched a movie called The House with Will Ferrell
Oh, I've heard
and
that's
Jason
terrible.
Matsukas. I thought it was so funny. It's
Is that
not.
Amy Poehler too?
Yeah.
Who's
So
this
here's the
guy?
deal. She's talking about travel movies, right? You're talking about movies that you
Mhm.
can kind of come in and out of and don't have to necessarily pay too close attention to. Well, this is the movie for you.
Yes.
It's dumb. It's got laugh out loud moments. The plot is not that hard to follow. You don't really have to pay attention too much. There's a lot of stuff that'll keep your attention. If not, whatever, you pass
Yeah.
out, you rewind it.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
I did just realize that Dirty Dancing is on Amazon Prime, so if you have that for $0, you can watch it. And I did watch it for the 987th time. So,
Hacker is also on Amazon Prime if you want to go check out
ooh,
Hackers.
yes. So there you go, Rachel.
There
We
you
got a
go.
few. We got a few for you. Let me also scroll down here. Okay. I can't help you, Maverick, and I apologize for that. Let's see what else we've got. Oh wait.
Andy, is the internet back?
All right. I just have those two.
Okay. That's it. Okay.
And it looks like my stuff. Oh wait, no. I was like, my stuff is frozen right now.
No, it's probably me. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
playing around on my iPhone and our internet's just Comcast was doing a bunch of stuff yesterday and our internet went out on us at 11 o'clock. So it seems to be the time where the Comcast employees decided to wake up and go screw with the lines.
I did see Greg's Instagram story where you guys were on it saying, like, what do we do?
It was not
What do
fun.
we do?
It was not fun.
All right, that was the last problem that I saw. Do you have a problem that you would like to share that we can prescribe you?
Yeah, my internet's out. Give me a
Okay.
movie that I need I can watch on my phone right
Hackers.
now. Hackers
Hackers.
done. Perfect. I love it. It's
Get
so
back
good.
to that original tech. You know what's another one that's more about tech that I really liked? Oh, the name's gonna escape me right now. It's Antitrust. Did you ever see
Oh, no, I never saw Antitrust.
that one? I would actually recommend because it's really good and it's kind of like Tim Robbins plays like the Bill Gates type
Mm,
character, and
interesting.
it's one of these situations of like them stealing information from you because they're always they're like Big
Always
Brother.
watching, yeah.
They've hacked into your life, so they know everything you know, and they're like stealing code from kids that are just making it to be like open sourced.
That's terrifying.
It's like, ooh, it's really good,
I
and then
will I'll
trying to
throw
figure
in
out like who's good and who's not. Like it's really
right.
good.
I'll throw another one on the list if we're talking tech. Strange
Mhm.
Days. You ever seen Strange Days?
I have not seen Strange Days, but I do know that it is directed by both Catherine Bigelow and James Cameron.
Yeah, it was her first really big movie, if I'm not mistaken. I think she'd done a couple things prior to that, but this is a movie Rafe Fiennes, not Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Juliette Lewis,
Yes.
and Angela Bassett. And man, it's a cool movie. Tom Sizemore is in it as well. I remember watching that with my buddy Ryan as well, and thinking, wow, this is like it was really cool sci-fi because it had to do with like recording someone's memories and then being able to play them back. So like
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
similar
I've
to
seen
like,
those.
and yeah, you can use it. It's like VR, but like in your brain. It's really
Mhm.
cool. But you can't really control it. You're just on the ride. So it's really, really interesting.
Kinda like an episode of Black Mirror where you could rewind stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also a sci-fi movie with Robin Williams called Final Cut. Don't know if you've ever heard of this
I
one.
have seen it. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a similar thing where like they implant something into your eye so you can record your entire life, and then when you die, someone edits your video together. Why, I don't really know,
That's
but
weird.
that's the premise behind it.
That is strange.
All right. Well, thank you, Nick,
My
for
pleasure.
joining us today on Film Therapy. Where can everyone find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Nick_Scarpino. You can follow me on Instagram at Nick_Scarpino. On Reddit, I'm Nick Scarpino because I was faster on that one. And then you can go to youtube.com/kindafunny, subscribe over there, or you can watch my live show at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right now, or in 34 minutes, 26 minutes, on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We'll do the morning show there, and we'll talk about all the fun entertainment news that's happening. And I'll rub the fact that I'm currently a champion in Andy's stupid face.
Oh, Annie's face is not stupid though.
He's a loser. He's a loser, and he comes from loser stock. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, poor Andy. All right. Yeah, excellent. You all can find me every day. Oh, I did want to ask you before you can. I'll tell you where you can find me. The other Nick Scarpino, that's just at Nick Scarpino
Yeah.
on both Twitter and Instagram.
Mhm.
Do you think he's on Reddit and he was like, damn it, I couldn't get Nick Scarpino here, so now I'm gonna go with Nick_Scarpino. That's what I like to think happened.
No, there was someone else that got Nick_Scarpino and screwed with me for a while. I think it was one of the best friends out there. So no, I don't think so. I think that's too far for him.
Okay.
He's yeah.
Perfect. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can find me all day, every day on Twitter at Miss Movies. And I'm on Instagram as Miss_Movies. So I got the underscore
there
too.
You go. Well, there it is. There it is.
I have both as well.
Beautiful.
Oh, well. We will see you next week for our final film therapy with Scott Mance, and that'll be on Friday of next week. So yeah, we will see you then. Thank you so much. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.